Feeding America, a national nonprofit, reports 435,000 people in San Diego County experience food insecurity. Joining me with a reality check on hunger in our region are my guest, Feeding America's Executive Director, Karen Herron, and Program Director, Jenny Senora. Welcome.
Thank you.
Karen, how do you define food insecurity and why don't you call it hunger?
Well, we define food insecurity as it's actually people experiencing hunger, but what food insecurity means is that they may have food today or have a meal today, but not know where the next meal is coming from, or there's not enough food for everyone in the family to eat, so somebody in that family is skipping meals so other members can have a meal.
So it sounds like a broader definition, Jenny, but I understand the report found that overall San Diego is doing a little better than last year when it comes to food insecurity. However, numbers here are still hovering around the state numbers, about 15%. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah.
What are some of the contributing reasons why we're having food insecurity here in San Diego County?
So there's three different main reasons that we can talk about. The first one is what we call self-sufficiency wages. So a lot of the families that we serve are working, but the wages aren't necessarily high enough to make ends meet. That goes to the second reason of the high cost of living in San Diego. So you can imagine the cost of housing is a huge contributor. And finally, the high cost of food. It's a lot easier to get cheap, unhealthy food in the county, but to get access to nutritious food is a lot more difficult.
And I understand there's some other contributing factors too. I understand 26% of people who are food insecure aren't eligible for national programs?
Yeah, so what that means is that 26%, their incomes might be a little bit higher than what would help them qualify for federal nutrition programs like SNAP or locally known as CalFresh. So their incomes might be a tiny bit higher, but they're not able to access a food assistance program.
And as you mentioned, the average cost of a meal here is higher than it is nationally. And also I understand we have a district here, the 51st Congressional District is the highest in the county?
Yeah, they have a rate of about 15% in food insecurity in that area. This is also rural areas of the county like Jacumba are struggling with food insecurity here in San Diego County.
Right, and that 51st District, so just so people know, is kind of from National City, exactly. Imperial Beach over to Imperial County. Speaking of Imperial County, Karen, the situation is worse there. How come?
It actually is worse in Imperial County. Part of the reason is it's very high unemployment there, higher than in the San Diego County. And we also see there's more food deserts or lack of access to good nutritious food. So it's really compounded there. There's more children and more people experiencing hunger there.
And some people might be surprised at that because we know that Imperial County also suffers from a large number of people who are obese. How does that relate to having food insecurity and yet a high obesity rate?
It is kind of a paradox, but what we know is that good nutritious food isn't always available to low-income people. And so what they do is resort to calorie-dense food. It's inexpensive, but it may not be the most nutritious. And so we see that a third of all the families that receive food assistance through Feeding America San Diego have chronic health issues. Obesity and diabetes top amongst them.
Mm-hmm. And Jenny, how many meals does Feeding America actually serve in San Diego and Imperial counties?
So we distribute 21 million meals annually, and we're able to reach about 59,000 different children, families, and seniors each week here.
What kind of programs and resources do you offer?
So we have a mobile pantry program that's going out into these rural food deserts that we're talking about to give food to people that have limited access to transportation and grocery stores. We also have a lot of Feeding Kids programs. We work with 32 different schools in 8 different districts to bring food directly to the elementary school, such as our school pantry program, which is a farmers market style distribution where parents themselves come to the school campus and are able to pick up healthy staple items and fresh fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm. And Karen, are these programs free? Is there a certain requirement?
They are free to the clients receiving the assistance. It costs us money to provide those programs, but those who come and receive the food assistance are not paying for that food assistance.
And how do you qualify, Jenny?
There are no eligibility requirements.
I see. How critical would you say, Karen, that these programs are to help put food on the table here in our region?
It's absolutely critical. What we see is many people who suffer with food insecurity, many times it's children who are not eating. Many times it's a parent who's also trying to hold down a job that is not eating. And so it's critical to the health and well-being of our whole community.
All right, Karen Herron and Jenny Senor, thank you so much.
Thank you.